Is it time to delete PayPal? PayPal stock has come under pressure the last few days as the company has been in the news for all the wrong reasons. We're going to talk about the latest news from PayPal. What do I think about PayPal stock from here? Is it a potential bargain? If this is your first time tuning in, my name is Daniel. You're watching Unrivaled Investing, a no-hype, mission-focused channel trying to find you exceptional companies and unrivaled investments. So what is the muck that PayPal management is stepping in? Well, first, you need to understand if you're going to use PayPal, they have an acceptable use policy. So if you're a customer with a digital wallet, if you are a merchant that accepts PayPal customers, you need to use and accept their acceptable use policy. This AUP includes the fact that if you do something that they prohibit, they can take $2,500 from your account per violation. Now, some of this does make sense. Most of it makes sense. You know, if you're going to have something where you do an illicit activity like drugs and you're using PayPal to transact, well, PayPal's saying, hey, we don't want to promote that, so we are going to take $2,500 from your account. Okay. But if you get into the territory that they recently did this past week, saying, hey, we are going to take $2,500 for misinformation, spreading things that we don't deem to be true, that is an extremely dangerous path for Western institutions, Western governments. This is not Chinese communist company. This is a Western company that's supposed to be promoting some Western values like free speech. You don't want to have something where it's like, hey, I don't agree with the banking sector. I don't like this. And all of a sudden, where'd Jack Ma go? And so this is considered to be an extremely dangerous path for PayPal to be following, to all of a sudden say, hey, we will take money out of your account if you say something that we don't like. So you're getting some of the founders, some of the historic operators of PayPal to jump in saying, what the heck are you talking about? David Marcus, former president of PayPal, saying it's hard for me to openly criticize a company I used to love and gave so much to, but PayPal's new AUP goes against everything I believe in. A private company now gets to decide to take your money if you say something they disagree with. Insanity. I completely agree. Elon Musk, one of the founders of PayPal, believe it, previously it was X merged with PayPal. He agreed with David Marcus. It is complete insanity. So what did PayPal management do? Whoopsie doopsie. This is misinformation. Yeah, we never intended to publish this new policy language. I personally wonder how much of it is a whoopsie doopsie versus, oops, you caught my hand in the cookie jar. I didn't mean to do that. And that's what it makes me think, because here it is to have Elon Musk, to have David Marcus sort of say, what are you doing? And then only after that do you see management sort of pull back, recant. It is concerning. And it makes me think harder about the existing PayPal management. So the question is, where does PayPal stock go from here? First, a quick plug. If you're struggling with this investment environment, consider unrivaledinvesting.com for new ideas in a community of like-minded investors. In full disclosure, this is not financial advice. First of all, looking at PayPal stock, the valuation, has come down significantly. Previously, the stock was trading at a high teens price sales multiple. Now it's trading below where it was for most of this past decade. So this is what I like to see. This means sentiment, expectations around the company are coming down quite a bit. This is what I like to see, this dramatic collapse in valuation. I start thinking, man, this could be bargain territory. So I want to start looking and thinking more about it. Now, part of this collapse is warranted because arguably their margin structure is lower, partly because they lost their eBay business, which was historically very lucrative. And, they do have Braintree, but that's lower margin. So you're seeing their operating margins come in significantly lower year over year, 11% versus 18%. That's a huge decline. So this is a reset that should impact the valuation. Now, I also do like to see that you are getting some activist investors starting to snap at the heels of the lower stock price, trying to snap at the heels of management, saying, hey, we are getting interested. And I do like to see someone like Elliott get involved. If you can see some activist hedge funds get involved, activist investors that can write really nasty letters in a public way, this can prevent bad behavior from management. And arguably, this was a serious misstep from management. And it wouldn't surprise me if you see something from Elliott in the future about this, sort of saying like, what are you doing? We demand a new CEO. It wouldn't surprise me to see that type of thing, because this was such a big misstep. Because arguably you're also seeing a movement into like delete PayPal come up. And that also creates a concern of like, could you see a decline in the core business? See, this is the challenge. When you have news start impacting the fundamentals of the business, it's a question of how bad will it actually be? How sticky will PayPal product be in the future? Will they actually start losing merchants? Will they start losing customers? So when I think about PayPal's valuation, currently around $84 a share, nearly $100 billion valuation, currently this year, maybe they generate around 27, 28 billion in sales. Thinking about their profit structure, it's unclear what their profit margins look like. Right now they're close to 11% in the most recent quarter. Previously it was high teens, closer to 20% when you think about their actual free cash flow. And so I'm looking at this sort of saying, based on their current sales, maybe they can do around 4 billion in free cash flow in the years ahead, give or take. Maybe it's closer to 5, maybe it's closer to 3.5. And so based on that, you're effectively looking at a company that trades at a free cash flow multiple of 19 to 28 times free cash flow. Ballpark, based on the assumptions of what their free cash flow could be. Now, keep in mind, once again, their margin structure has come down quite a bit, and this is something that they're working towards improving in the quarters ahead. So I don't want to give them full credit for this, but I'm sort of penciling out if they do deliver, this is potentially what we're looking at. Now, in the last few years, they've generated better free cash flow than this, but once again, their margin structure has come down significantly. Thinking about their growth, in the years ahead, maybe they're growing at high single digits, maybe it's mid-teens. And then thinking about the multiple, I'm assuming, around 20 times earnings multiple, give or take. Well, in this scenario, on the low side, I'm effectively penciling out break even, because I'm assuming the cash flow that they generate, they return to shareholders to the tune of around 4% a year. And then on the high side, I'm assuming around 150%, maybe close to 200% upside. Now that is interesting. I wouldn't say it's deeply compelling looking at this. And I think I would rather look for either PayPal to get cheaper or look for other companies that are already at a more compelling valuation. That's how I look at PayPal currently. Would I be surprised to see it up 100, 150% over the next 5 years? If management executes, and arguably this past year has been a series of missteps, whether or not it's weak guidance or the recent developments with their effectively their user policies. So if I start saying, hey, you're doing much better execution, your growth reaccelerates, your profit margins reaccelerate and improve, go back to where they previously were, then I would see that scenario. Right now, management has a lot to do to prove themselves, and it wouldn't surprise me if you need to see new management altogether, a new CEO altogether looking at this. So I personally have not bought PayPal stock yet. I personally would want to see a little bit of a lower valuation, and also in this investment environment with higher interest rates, looking at a Federal Reserve tightening, putting the screws to the U.S. economy, I just want to be compensated with greater upside. So I do call out the stocks that I think could potentially be compelling, that I'm personally buying at unrivaledinvesting.com. If you enjoyed this video on PayPal, their latest missteps, please make a point of hitting that thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and thank you for watching Unrivaled Investing.